So today our session is on transport layer. So here I'm showing transport layer and what are the syllabus topic according to syllabus what topics we have. So all of you put an heading transport layer unit number 4. So after completion of unit 4 and 5 I want to unit 4 last is topic is nothing but ATM network. So in that only I want to cover that third unit ATM networks both together I will do. So last year also same thing I did in offline class also. In offline class also that is what is my thing is simply ATM networks and ATM AL layer. So both are together I want to discuss. So now today agenda. So only I want to discuss about two things. So here first thing is transport services. So what are the transport layer services we have? So how to govern the services and what is the layer and everything. So I want to discuss about the transport services. And second one is elements of transport layer. So what are the elements involved in the transport layer? And last today's thing is nothing but connection management. Okay, so the connection management, these three topics I want to cover so in this class. Okay, so I'm going to try to elaborate the thing. So according to this elaboration, so with the participation of discussion we are able to understand what is the transport layer and everything. So as you know, the transport layer is a OSI model layer. So it is a fourth layer. Yes, so everybody know that thing. So the fourth layer consisting of what are the facilities. So the transport layer is always taking the information from session layer, and it is always taking the information from the network layer. So it is in between the network and the transport layer. So it is also having certain facilities and it is responsible to peer-to-peer delivery. So that is nothing but the terminal role of the transport layer is provide the communication services directly to the application. So whenever you are trying to communicate two applications, that is for example Java RMI, remote method invocation. So in such cases, must and should you need to talk about the application. So for that process, the application layer, so and the application and the transport layer are major roles. So the transport layer provides a logical communication between the application processes. Process means what? It is a program under execution. So we know as usual, the program under execution is nothing but a process. So in between these two processes, so on different hosts. So host is nothing but what? So it is maybe a laptop or it is a high-end system. So it is having a operating system and it is having a high storage capability and everything. So such type of system what you call host. So in two different hosts, two applications are running. So according to that applications, so in between them there is a communication model. There is a logical communication model is established. Such type of model or such type of link is nothing but your transport layer. So the transport layer facilities are these things first. So that is the simple introduction. The transport layer protocols are implemented. So in the end systems. So actually it is they are in the end systems and not in the in between the routers, bridges and switches. So in that type of devices we are not going to provide any systematic approach or any development is not required. So here the all transport protocols provide multiplexing as well as demultiplexing services. So and it also provides as a reliable data transfer and bandwidth guaranteeness and delay guaranteeness. So these are the things. So the delay guaranteeness means what? So for suppose today that is nothing but one instant, T1 instant I sent certain information. That information when it is reached to particular application, so how long it will take to communicate is nothing but delay guaranteeness. So for that purpose the transport layer is responsible. So there are some services, so I want to discuss about the services of the transport layer. So the first service of the transport layer, yeah, I hope you are able to see my screen. Yes, so here I want to discuss about one by one the service. So end-to-end delivery. So the transport layer services. So we are going to write a list as like a list. The first thing is so end-to-end delivery. So end-to-end delivery. So this is the first responsibility of the transport layer. And second thing, the end-to-end connection between the hosts. Okay. So here the same thing. Here the end-to-end connection between the hosts. So that is the second responsibility. So here the end-to-end connection between the hosts. Hosts. So your host is nothing but what? It is a mainframe system. Okay. So the system which is able to run certain programs, such type of thing, what you call host. So here the end-to-end communication is established and multiplexing and demultiplexing. The third category, the third service is provided by the transport layer is so multiplexing and demultiplexing. So these are the facilities which are provided. Next, the fourth one is very very important. So that is congestion control. The congestion control. Congestion control. So that is the fourth role. So we will discuss one by one. So these are all things. And data integrity and error correction. So that is the fifth thing is nothing but data integrity and error correction. So that is a major role. And the last thing is flow control. So here flow control. These are the major things we need to discuss in this. So later, if time is there, connection management we will see. So first thing, so what is the end-to-end delivery or end-to-end protocol? Okay. So generally you call it is a end-to-end responsibility. Means what? So whenever two systems are participating in communication, so the transport layer so transmits the entire message to the destination. So it is not responsible for a packet or it is not responsible for a simple frame. So or it is not responsible for a single bit and a byte. So it doesn't matter. So how much long or how much big message. But here always the end-to-end delivery is nothing but the entire message. The entire message. So it is responsible for entire message. Okay. So that is the first thing. So here the end-to-end delivery of an entire message from a source to destination is the responsibility of the transport layer, and the transport layer requires port number. So what it required? So simply it required a port number. Okay, with respect to port number only. For example, the port number so 8080. So what 8080 is responsible for the Apache Tomcat server. So it is you can communicate with your internet Ethernet port. Okay, so that is the responsibility. The port number is required, and the correctly deliver segments of the data from the process among the multiple processes. So for suppose on a single system there are multiple processor running. So maybe only one system, one server, there are maybe 15,000 processor running at the same time because it is a high end system. So out of 15,000 processes, for which process I want to send the information. So that is the responsibility. That is end-to-end delivery. So for suppose I opened a bank account. So that bank account with respect to my account, and with respect to my server, that is nothing but maybe SBI server or HDFC server. So in that server system, there is one program is running always. So depends upon that program. So I want to access my user details, and the same thing I want to modify. So maybe I am going to add some money, or I want to transfer some money from one place to another place. So that is nothing but what, in my system one program is running, in remote system there is one program is running. So both are synchronized together. So for this all entire process is done by means of the transport layer. So for the responsibility is different. So here, why you are talking about multiple process means, so if you talk about a mainframe system, there is not only single processor or single thing is participated. So there are several processor running on like a Google server like that. Okay, so in that there are more number of processor running. So a port number is a 16-bit address. Actually, here port number means, so there are 16-bit addresses. So we can use, so all port numbers maximum. So these are all 16-bit. So these are the 16-bit addresses what we have. So, and use it to identify any client or server program uniquely. So what is the purpose of that thing means? So for suppose Apache Tomcat 8080. So HTTP server, that one is HTTP server, Apache Tomcat port. So like that, if you have different type of database management systems, or different type of Java RMA application, remote method unification application or something, so at that moment compulsory you require a port number. So the port number is, it is a 16-bit address or 16-bit number, a unique number. So by using that unique number only, the end-to-end delivery is possible for the service of transport layer. That is the one of the major service done by the transport layer. Simple. The entire message is responsibility of the entire message is nothing but transport layer, and from host system to destination system or source to destination, so or end to end, so it is a responsible. And for that, what it is going to use, the multiprocessor systems or single process running systems. So the delivery of the particular system only done by means of a port number. So here the port number is a 16-bit unique ID or unique number. Okay, that is the information about end-to-end delivery. The second case, so end-to-end connection between the host. So here end-to-end connection between the host is also responsible creating the end-to-end connection between the host with mainly uses TCP and UDP. So already in lab we did. So that is nothing but agent. So AGENT. So here the agent is, so maybe UDP or TCP. Okay. So we are always thinking about the UDP agent or TCP agent. So here the datagram protocol, so user datagram protocol or transmission control protocol. So these two protocols, which one you can use? Okay, so what is the responsibility here? Simply, the TCP is a secure connection oriented protocol. So we'll see later what is the UDP, what is the TCP like that. But here TCP is very secure and it is a connection oriented protocol. So whereas UDP is a connection oriented, the connectionless protocol. So here must and should be from process to process a connection establishment is done by. So for suppose there is a source. So in the source system, this is the destination. DDD is the destination. So in between these two source and destination, so there is a P1. The process one is running on. So the responsibility of the transport layer is, so in between them the process one and process two maybe. So in between them only I need to establish a connection. So process to process. Okay. So the linkage, that is nothing but the connection establishment or in between these two things is done mainly using TCP or UDP. So here TCP is more secure than UDP. So and the handshaking. So the TCP protocol uses handshake protocol. So establish the robust connection between them. So that is more reliable. So robust in the sense what? Must and should be you can use any way how you can. So then, so that is secure, more secure there as compared to UDP. So it is a stateless, okay, unreliable protocol. Yes, UDP is somewhat unreliable, so best effort of the delivery, but very fast. But so maximum times TCP establishment is very very hard as compared to UDP, but UDP is very fast but not reliable. So if reliability is not there means maximum people doesn't use UDP. So that's why maximum the TCP IP protocol only always we are using. Okay, so that is the second thing. Second thing is nothing but what? The end-to-end connection between the hosts. So in every host there is a process running. So in between the two processes, so we are going to establish a connection. So the type of connection what you call, so end-to-end connection or end-to-end connection establishment. So for that we are going to use two things. One is UDP, one is TCP. So TCP is more relevant and more reliable and robust, and it is more secure because it can use handshaking signals also. So and it is a connectionless, the connection oriented protocol. So UDP, if you take UDP, it is not reliable that much, and it is not secure. So it doesn't use any handshaking and anything, and it is not a connection oriented protocol. So that is the difference. Okay. So this is what about the second service. So next, multiplexing and demultiplexing. So multiplexing, demultiplexing always. So there are simultaneous signals. So you can pass more number of signals, or you can pass more amount of information at a time. So generally, the applications over the network running on a host. Yes. So generally, all applications in the network are running on a host. The transport layer provides these mechanism. Okay. So here the mechanism which enables the packet streams of various applications simultaneously. Okay, so we don't know, we can't expect like that. So that means, so then there is a system, SSS is the system, my source, and DDD is another system here, same thing. So but here the multiplexing demultiplexing, what is the need means, so maybe process 1 to 15 are working on source, and process P2 to 35 are working on D, destination. So at this moment, I want to transfer certain information from one place to another place, or I want to transfer the related signals. So maybe by using your unique ID number or your port number or something. But at that instant, more number of signals are together you want to transmit from one place to another place. For that requirement, what is required? Compulsory, there is a requirement of multiplexing. So after receiving the data, so some headers and everything we are going to add, and demultiplexing is repeated and required. Yes. So at the receiver side to obtain the data coming from the various process. Okay. So the transport receives the segment data from the network layer and delivers to it appropriate process or the receiver machine. Okay, so in that receiver machine, always it is gives to a particular process, that related process only. So generally, simultaneously, more number of signals are working. Simple. The mechanism is simple, sir. Here, so more signals are participating in a single packet. So at this moment, multiplexing, demultiplexing must and should require. As a EC student, very very well known. So if you want to pass more number of signals into a single channel, so at that instant you can use multiplexing. So here our requirement is according to transport layer. So the transport layer is going to connect end-to-end systems with respect to process. So maybe in one system there are several processes are running, so according to requirement of the number of process, the number of signals are going to multiplex it together and send to medium. So once received by the receiver, so once again demultiplexing is occurred. So due to the demultiplexing, so after demultiplexing, so it will give the information to required process. That is nothing but according to the requirement. Okay. So next, last, fourth one, the last but two, congestion control. So what is the congestion? So it is a situation. Yes, actually congestion means what? It is a situation. Always a jam, traffic jam. So what is traffic jam? So uh, Here, the congestion means simple. The congestion control algorithm, always we are talking about congestion control is depends upon QoS, quality of service. So this is responsible for only one thing, sir. First, mainly. So the congestion control is required. Maybe I have a capability of sending 12 signals. 12 signals. For examples, I am telling. So 12 signals is the capacity of one channel. But there are 20 systems are trying. 20 systems are trying to send info. Okay. So to send information, there are 20 systems are trying. So how many access are there? So 8 systems are access. So congestion is the situation. It is a situation where too many sources are trying to attempt to send the data, or the router buffer, okay, start overflowing. Yes. So what you are using, the network device are all are, so compulsory their overflow. So there is a overflow occurred. So you see, so for suppose evening 6 o'clock to 6:30, 6:30 to 9 o'clock, the roads are all jam. So because the capacity of a road is maybe 20 vehicles per minute. So but at that moment there are 200 vehicles per minute. So that means what? There is a traffic jam. Same way in our transportation layer, or in our transportation system, that is nothing but communication system, always you need to bother about the congestion. So here the buffer or the router buffers all are compulsory overflowing. So due to this overflow, the loss of packet is occurred. Okay. So that once loss of packets are occurred means what? The quality of service is going to be degrade. So compulsory it is going to decrease. So as result of transmission packets from the source to increases or congestion further. So that means what? Once 2 or 3 packets lost, so automatic repeat request, automatic go back NARQ. So these all are what they are going to do. Once again, they are going to send the information, and the receiver also tries to pull the information. So like that. So there is a lot of disturbance in the network. Automatically, that situation, what you call congestion. Okay, congestion. So in this situation, the transport layer provides congestion control in different ways. Okay. So here the transport layer is providing certain information under certain rules and regulations to its network. Okay. So that one so is called congestion control. So here, in different ways, it uses open loop congestion control. So one of the technology is open loop, and to prevent the congestion, and closed loop congestion control to remove the congestion. So open loop means prevention, closed loop means simply it will remove the congestion. So once it occurred, so TCP provides AIMD. So that is nothing but one of the congestion control algorithm. So AIMD. So abbreviation I want to tell. So additive increase, okay, multiplicative decrease. So additive increase, multiplicative decrease. Okay, AIMD. So and leaky bucket technique or leaky bucket algorithm. Generally, you call it is a leaky bucket technique for the congestion control. So that is done in a third unit only. So next one, the congestion control can be controlled by using two ways. One is open loop and closed loop. Okay. So this is the main agenda. So data link layer. Next, data integrity and error correction. So what is the integrity? Always we are talking about speeches of some personality development, and everybody told integrity, integrity. What is the integrity? So here it checks for the errors. So for suppose if we have any errors in our daily life, so we are going to check ourselves only every time, and we need to correct. Okay. So that is called integrity generally. So the transport layer checks for errors in the messages coming from the application layer by using error detection code. So what it is using? Error detection codes and computing checksums. So always it is checking for the checksum, how much checksum is coming, and what are the checksum final value and everything. So it checks whether the received data is computed and uses as a acknowledgement. Okay, so acknowledgement and NACK, so ACK and NACK. So non-acknowledgement, that is nothing but some failure is there in that. So to inform the sender if the data is arrived or not, checks for the integrity of the data. So it will do that operation. So whether acknowledgements are correctly going on, so n acknowledgements are correctly going on, so whether the data is received properly or not. So this all entire validation is done in transport layer. So that's why the transport layer is responsible for so correctness of the data. So that word what you are using, the integrity. So every time you are checking, yes. So maybe some subject will failure. Maybe in C programming language, some of the goal is failed. So she must and should check what are her mistakes. Maybe out of entire class, so there are 68 members are there in your class, 50 pass, so only 18 members are failed. So that means what? So they must and should think, so and they need to correct, because so after completion of entire B.Tech you need to correct, or at that time you need to correct. So in that semester only you need to correct, and in next semester at least you need to pass. So such type of error detection and correction is required. So that type of application or the type of methodology what you call integrity, the data integrity and error correction. So these two are the main reasons of the transport layer. Next, flow control. So this is the one of the major issue. So always we are thinking about the flow control. So in a traffic control, as a traffic controller, so the traffic police what is doing? So simple, the transport layer provides the flow control mechanism between the adjacent layers of TCP/IP model. Simple, the flow control over session layer, the flow control over network layer. So adjacent means must and should be there. So next, the TCP/IP also provides data loss due to fast sender and slow receiver by imposing some flow control techniques. So this is very very important, sir. So maybe your friend and you are participating in a communication. Your friend is or some person is speaking very fastly, so you are unable to receive the data. So that is nothing but what? Fast sender and a slow receiver. For example, I am talking. So sometimes, so there is a sender is very slow if the receiver is very fast. So no problem. Maximum times there is no problem with that thing. So here the requirement is nothing but simply the adjacent layers of TCP/IP are responsible, and the transport layer is monitoring that thing. So how long the data is loose, okay, due to fast sender and slow receiver. So some flow control techniques, it uses a method of sliding window protocol. So already we know what is the sliding window protocol in our second unit. So which is accomplished by the receiver by sending a window back to the sender. So informing that the size of the data can be received. Okay, it can be received. So only we received this much. Once again, you need to send the information back. So like that, so the flow control is occurred. So always that is required in any type of data communication. So this is about the flow control and different types. So what we observed now, just introduction part is done. The transport layer introduction is nothing but simply the transport layer is the fourth layer in the OSI model, and it always receive the data from the two layers. One is session layer and one is network layer, and it is in between them. So that's why it is always getting the packets. It is responsible for some responsibilities are there. They are called services. The services are simple. So they are: first one is end-to-end delivery, second one is end-to-end connection between the hosts and multiplexing and demultiplexing. Fourth one is congestion control. Fifth one is data integrity and error correction. And sixth one is flow control. So these are the main services provided by the your transport layer. So the last topic today I want to discuss, that is nothing but the elements of transport layer. Okay, so that is only we did already. So the connection management. Okay, the connection management. So here, what are the connection management issue? Okay, how the connection is managed by the transport layer. So here, so these are we discussed right now. Already, I sent the material also for you. So the connection management. So here, the connection management is there are two types of services provided by the connection. So must and should any two devices want to communicate together. So whether it is a Bluetooth communication, whether it is a satellite communication, so whether it is a wired or wireless, anyway, must and should be there is some data exchange between the systems, and always setup page is required. Maximum time setup page is required. So in a symmetric connection management services between the two service access points specified using a state transmission system or safety and progress requirements. So these are the main category. So that means, so what is the requirement is, I want to show some diagrammatic explanation. So in a system, so I'm going to take two systems. So one is sender, so one is receiver. So the topic name is connection management. Connection management. So in this connection management, so what is the main agenda? So a symmetric connection. Symmetry. What is the symmetry means? Must and should be. It is as like a bidirectional connection. So you think like a bidirectional connection. Like so, in a symmetry connection between these two. So maybe one is sender, one is receiver. You assume like that. So two-way data communication is possible. So it is a full duplex mode, I am thinking. Okay. So in this, so I am not discussing which is the sender, which is the receiver, but always, so the two access points are required. So one is here, so the AP access point. Okay, so this one is nothing but my AP. So there is an access point, and this is also one more access point. So these two access points are required the specific transmission of the system or safety and progress requirements. So what are the safety rules we need to provide to protect that connection? And what are the progress requirements? So at each access point, the user can request connection establishment, okay, or connection termination, and the signal whether not or not they are willing to accept. So that is nothing but what? Simply first we need to request a connection. So maybe I want to connect with the Google server. So this is my client system, and this is my server system. At that instant, so it is going to request some data or something, some connection. So at that instant, may or may not they are going to accept. The other system always it do not accept. Yes, maybe it's busyness, or maybe lack of resources. So maybe error connection, so error internet of connection, like that. So some issues are there. So but if it is accepts the connection, the request to connection termination. So also last at the end of the transmission of the data, we are going to request the connection termination, and always we are going to signal. So whether signal is passing, or whether they are accepting or not accepting also, it is a matter. So because they are the remote users, so we don't have a full control on that remote user. So that indicates connection establishment and connection termination and the rejection of the connection establishment request. So these all type of messages are managed by connection management. So that one we called connection management. So at this moment, so your phone is lifted. That is nothing but what? Whether it is lifted or not, also there is a message. So there is no unconnected call. Okay, so unconnected call, so it is a unterminated call. So like that we have some information is there. So when you are using such type of protocols, or when you are using such type of applications and everything. So these connection oriented and connectionless services. So there are two types: the connection management or connections, are two types. So what are the connection oriented? So first one is connection oriented, and second one is connectionless. Connectionless. So these are the two different services: connection oriented protocol, connectionless protocol, like, okay, services. So for this also it is providing services and some connectionless services. Also, the transport layer is responsible for. So uh, there are two data transmission services. So the connection oriented services establish a connection. So we know already the meaning only it is the connection oriented means what? So there is a prior connection between the sending packets belonging to the same message from source to the destination. So that is the advantage. So when you are thinking about the connection oriented protocol or connection oriented service, so must and should be once the connection is established, so the same data, the information entire packets are related to one same message. So, but in case of the connectionless service, so consider each packet belonging to the same message as a different and independent entity. Okay, that is there is a lot of difference. So here all are having same identification numbers and everything. So in this, but each data packet or each data frame have its own identity and integrity. So that is the difference, main difference between the connection oriented and connectionless services. So in connectionless service, so the packets may be once they release it from the sender, so they are taking the different traversals and different paths and everything. So but if they are belong to same message also, so their identification numbers are different, and the routing paths also different, and so they are going to take different paths and different times, timing also different. Maybe one packet will take less time, one is take lot of time. So but they need not to follow the rules and regulations of same way I need to go. So that means after packet 1 going only, after packet 3 need to go, so like that it is not required. So that's why in connection management we need to think about these things. Okay, so in that case, so I want to show you one diagram. So that is connection oriented service. So what is the connection oriented service? So this diagram, if you see this diagram, so you can easily understand. So in connection oriented what happened? So for suppose there is a source system, so it is giving certain information into the spider network, so our network. So in that network, router 1, router 2, router 3, router 4, so there are 4 routers are 5 routers are participating. So maybe all the path. So because once the connection is establishment is done, the resources are going to be reserved. So R1, R2, R4. The path is reserved like this: R1, R2, R4. So once R1, R2, R4 is established, the connection. So we need to think about, so the connection, the packets, all packets are moving in a sequential manner. See, after one only two will go, after two only three will go, two, three only four will go. So you need not to reconstruct the signal once again once you receive the data. So this is one of the major issue. But here the time, the connection establishment purpose, we require some extra time. So the synchronization message, so that is handshaking signals you need to pass, and we need to receive some acknowledgement. Once the acknowledgement receives, only you need to send the data. So that is the one of the problem. So it will take some time. Okay, for establishment of connection, second and third unit, you learned that thing only. So when you are applying some connection oriented thing, so automatically the time is somewhat wasted. So that is only here the service by your transport layer. Same way, at the time of tear down phase, so we call it the tear down phase, that is connection termination. So in connection termination, first the sender sends finite message, that is nothing but just finish the connection or interrupt the connection. So automatically the acknowledgement is came from the send receiver side. So once receive the acknowledgement, so then automatically it will release all the resources. So and send the acknowledgement. Yes, I am also stopping my all acknowledgements and everything. So the type of messages are passing in between these two. So the protocol is a connection. The TCP is the one of the protocol which is a connection oriented protocol. The connection oriented protocol. So it is having same data path. So you can write some points here. Yes, easily you can write all these points. So to establish a connection, so we request a destination and we require certain time. So because from here to here information need to pass. Once again you get the acknowledgement, and after getting the acknowledgement you need to send the information. So like this you have some delay, some delay is there in the network. So some timing delay is there. So but anyhow these are the reliable systems, these are the reliable connections. So that's why connection oriented protocols are so very basic thing. And so always the entire destination and sender information, these all things are uh, must and should be updated in the routing table. So according to routing table, the travel predefined path. There is a path already it is defined. So in that path only the entire information is going to move. Once connection established done, so automatically data is going to move in a same path. Okay. So that is, so for example, what type of protocol it is? So the TCP, the transmission control protocol, is the connection oriented protocol. So already we discussed this. Next, connectionless service. So in connectionless service, this is the best example. So previously also we got same type of examples in second, third units. Maybe in second unit you got. So here, so packet switching. So in that case also we got this thing. So there is information. The packet is divided into one, two, three, four. So different type of packets, and with their identification numbers. So but three is taking R1, R2, and R4. So one and two are one is taking so R1, R3, R4, and two is taking R1, R3, R5, R4. So like that, 4 is taking directly R1, R5, R4. So all are coming in a different way. But here the advantage is simply we need not to bother about the connection is established or not. That's it. Directly send the information from one place to another place. So, but data may be out of the order. So we must and should reconstruct the signal according to their identification number and everything. We need to reconstruct the signal. So that is only the source divides the message into small acceptable packets. So these packets known as a datagram. So this one only. So in that circuit switching and packet switching, so virtual circuit networks. So at that moment we discussed this thing already. So this same topic, but there we are only concentrating on how much is delay. So that the cost, we call it is a cost, the cost delay and everything we discussed in that. A. So the UDP protocol is a connectionless protocol. So here there are some differences between the. So what we are discussing, sir, right now, the connection management. Okay, that is taken care by transport layer. So in that there are two different services are there. One is connection oriented and connectionless. So these are the major differences. So services related to the telephone system. The connection oriented is telephone system. The connectionless services are related to the postal system. So you think like, so the connection oriented services is preferred by long and steady communication, and the connectionless services preferred by so a bursty communication. So at a time, that's it. So after some time, it doesn't require. So next, connection oriented services is necessary. So but connectionless service is not compulsory. Okay, service is not compulsory. So not maximum times we are not preferring that type. Connection oriented services is feasible. So these are some feasible and flexible also. So not flexible, but these are feasible, and they are very reliable. The connection less services are not feasible, and in connection oriented services congestion is not possible. Okay, there is no possibility of congestion because only one source is working on that test. So in connection less service, the congestion is possible. Must and should be there is a congestion. So here next, the connection oriented services gives the guarantee of reliability. The connectionless services do not give the guarantee of reliability. And seventh one, the connection oriented services packets follow the same route, we know already according to the diagram. So in connectionless service, the packets do not follow the same route. Okay, so this is about the uh, my first class out of these 10 classes. So we covered three topics. One is the introduction of transport layer, and second one is the elements of the transport layer or services of this transport layer. Next one, the connection management. So different connection management thing we discussed. So tomorrow I want to discuss about TCP and UDP protocol. So and after that, so in three classes it is going to complete, sir. So tomorrow I want to complete TCP and UDP, and the day after tomorrow I want to complete ATM and AAL layer protocol. So ATM and AAL layer protocol will take two classes, because first I need to explain ATM networks, then only I need to explain ATM AAL layer protocol. Okay. So from third unit, last topic and this one. Okay. So this is about the unit. So please respond our roll calls. Uh, yeah, roll number 96. Please respond in a, yeah. Please respond in that thing. So if you are your mic is not working or something is there, you respond in messages. Just message me. So I am taking the attendance. Try to respond in a mic only, because it is recording. So otherwise, you type your message according to my calling only. So 96 to 100. 96 to 100. Yeah, respond please. 96 present. Thank you. 99. Next, 100 to 105. If you are unable to speak out or your mic is not working, you just type a message in a group, not in a WhatsApp group, in this class group. Okay. 104. Okay. Next. Okay. 105 present. Very good. Next. Up to 110. Up to 110. 108. Yeah, are you able to understand this class, today's class? 108. Okay. Next, up to 115. 115. Yeah, 115 is present. Next, up to 120. Up to 120. 117 present. Okay. 119 present. 118 present. Okay. So 113 absent. Harshini. Or 120 present. Okay. Next, 121. Yes. Up to 125. Up to 125. Okay. 127. Okay. So up to 130. Okay, 4. Okay. 126 present. One. Okay. So next, 124 done. Up to 130. That's it. Next, one up to 140. Up to 140. You type message also, sir. If you are unable to. 131 present, and 133 present. Next 132 present. Next 137 present. 138, 139. Okay, thank you. Up to 140 done. So lateral entry. So 1 to 10. Yeah, 301 present. Okay, okay. 301 present. 303 present. 308 present. 308 also present. Okay. 307 present. Next, up to lateral entry 20. Lateral entry 20. Up to lateral entry 20. That is 320. 316 present. Hmm. Next, what's that? 312 present. Very good. Next, 102 also present. Okay, 102 I wrote. 138 present. Okay. Yes, yes, yes. 316 already I did. So next, up to last number. What's a 3 317? Okay. 323. Okay. Next, yes, that's it. Okay. Thank you. And go through the syllabus notes and prepare well. So I'm stopping my class, so because I have another class. So thank you. If you have any doubts also, you can ask in WhatsApp or by calling. Okay, thank you.